The St. Louis Archbishops playing the Dallas Destiny in the Western Conference Finals. The winner will advance to the championship match December 1st. So we have the white pieces, and I'm right here with four-time U.S. chess champion, Yasser Seirawan. Welcome, Yasser, to the show.
Thank you. Pleasure to be with you, Mike.
Yes. So this match is very exciting. It's we're the number 2 seed against the Dallas Destiny. They won the division based off of a tiebreaker. They had more game points than we had match points.
And that's critical because
they get the draw odds. However, we got the color choice. So we're going to have whites on boards 1 and 3 and black on boards 2 and 4.
Okay, well, let's start with board number 2 then, where we have Akobian playing black, representing St. Louis Archbishops, of course, versus Lee from Dallas, and Lee opened e4.
Yeah,
and it's kind of funny. We got a lot of French defenses.
Right, as expected, right?
3 out of 4 games were expected French defenses.
Well, at least in this one.
Okay.
Unfortunately, VAR was about 5 minutes late for this encounter, so that's why there's a disparity on the time is as such.
Okay. So we have a standard French with knight c3, knight f6, the Steinitz variation, and then bishop g5. This move was actually made popular by Alexander Alekhine, and it gives black additional options that he wouldn't have in the oops, excuse me, I did something wrong there, I apologize, that he wouldn't have in the traditional variations, which go I have to write in, pardon me, copy. Sorry, I should have done this earlier. Copy game 6, I believe. Just a second, sorry. Copy game 6. Yes. Okay. So we go back to where I had wanted to be, and we were here. Knight c3, knight f6, bishop g5, and instead of bishop g5, let me go back. Okay, I can't do what I wanted to do. I guess I can only do what I want to do when I get to the game position.
When you get to the stopping point, huh?
Okay, so we have a takes on e4. Yes, the stopping point. That's a good way of putting it. Bishop e7, bishop takes, gf. Black accepts a kind of double pawn structure, doubled f pawns in return for the 2 bishops. And funnily enough, this pawn on f6 can actually control some important key squares.
Now, do you think VAR will ever get the castle in this position?
It really depends. Usually, the simple answer is no. Okay, in most of the variations that come from this particular variation, black's king just camps out in the center. So knight c3. So knight c3 leaves open the option for white of being able to advance his d-pawn. Now VAR played a7, a6, which is really a hyper-aggressive way of playing this specific position. I'm much more familiar with bishop f6. Okay, but this was VAR's choice, a6. He wants to expand on the queen side, and it's sort of like it's not really a Sicilian, but you can understand why in many Sicilians black wants to play b5, b4, and drive the knight out of the center. Queen e2, b5, and there he goes, b4, bam.
Wow.
So he's kind of like sidelined this knight on a4, but at the cost of his king still being in the center, and he hasn't completed his piece development, queen b5.
Now, at this point, both players would be out of book.
I think it's still book.
You think it?
I think it's still book.
Okay.
For sure, it's still booked. Now, queen c4. Now, this is a pawn sacrifice. I think it's been tried on a couple of occasions. Personally, I'm not a big fan of sacrificing pawns when I'm black. I don't mind doing it when I'm white. But when I'm black, I would have probably traded queens, but VAR goes for the sharpest line, which is to give away his c-pawn.
Wow.
And now, queen drops back. There's a threat of knight b6, which he addresses. So in return for just a pawn, the c-pawn, you can see that black has really good piece development, and his 2 bishops are actually working very, very nicely. But having said that, he's still a pawn down. b2, b3. What that move does is it sets up a retreat knight b2, knight c4 in a lot of variations, besides just not hanging the a2 pawn.
Yes.
Okay. Rook g8. Now, after the move rook g8, you can see it's really, really hard for white to untangle his pieces. He can't move his bishop. He can't move his rook on h1. He can move his king, but that doesn't help address his development problems. With the move knight e1, it's a slow, slow idea, but white wants to play f3. Then he wants to play g3. Then he wants to develop his bishop, and so forth and so on. King e7. So there you go. King stays in the center. Bishop e2. Now you can't take twice on g2 because there's a rook in the corner on a8. Bishop f3 will double attack both rooks at the end of that variation. So the rook moves out. Now finally Var is ready to capture back his pawn. And it's very hard for white to defend the pawn. In fact, the only move is bishop f3. So white maintains his extra pawn, but now his extra pawn has been doubled as well.
Double isolated, yep.
Yeah. Bishop f4 check, and I think we're up to date. Probably the move king b1.
You keep a b2 open for the knight.
Exactly. So we've got such ideas as knight b2 to d3 or knight b2 to c4, and bringing the knight to a more active square. Now, in the meantime, one of the things that Var has done, he's done it very successfully, is he's isolated this pawn over here. So oftentimes, there's an idea of bringing your rook across to attack the pawn. I would probably, if I were in black shoes, I would probably play the move knight f6.
Yeah,
so
at this point,
I would want to put my knight nicely, like knight here.
You wouldn't play for tricks like knight e5 or anything.
Let's see.
But I mean,
knight e5.
I don't know if it does anything.
It takes advantage of the short-term pin along the d file, but I got f3 covered, so I could probably play knight b2 now, threatening to capture. Well, I don't know. I mean, at least in this case, you can redirect your energy towards the d4 pawn. So there's something to be said for. I would probably force you to mess up your pawn structure in terms of taking it. All right, let's.
So the final analysis of this position is Var is down a pawn, but he's doing okay.
Yeah, for sure. He's got comp. He's got comp. Okay, let's just reduce that for a moment, and we'll go to our number one board. Let me just bring this up for a second.
So what is the U.S. Chess League all about?
So the U.S. Chess League is a 4-on-4 team competition. It's played over the Internet Chess Club. We're obviously playing in the Chess Club and Scholastic Center in the VIP boardroom. Our team is all assembled there, and Dallas is playing somewhere in Dallas, obviously. Probably all in the same location as well. That's the chess league for you.
In fact, it's a requirement in the chess league that the players be under the observation of an arbiter, so that there's no outside interference or any help. And that's one of the things that I really do like about the chess league. Even though geographically the country is so huge that it's a real challenge to put together a league. If you do it over the internet, you just have to control and make sure everything's okay. And that's one of the things I really admire about the chess league. There's never been any issues of any cheating of anything like that, and the players are really confident that they're playing against one another.
Yeah, definitely. Our TD is Jonathan Schranz, who does the opening lecture on Monday, and very competent, and he makes sure everybody's obeying all the rules. Yep, for
and
sure.
Jonathan recently was the assistant arbiter at TD here for the two matches.
Yeah, the exhibition match. Yeah, the showdown in St. Louis.
Showdown in St. Louis. Yes. Okay, we go to the game between Nyzhnyk against Holt.
Now this is
board one.
This is a revenge match, actually. In the last day of the regular season, Nyzhnyk actually lost to Holt with the black pieces.
Okay.
So now he's got the white piece. So he's really geared up for this match.
He knows he's in with a tough opponent.
So I'm very excited to see how this is progressing.
So Holt obviously has a reputation of a French defense player, and it's intriguing to me that Nyzhnyk chose the exchange French defense. Usually this is not considered a challenge for black, but when you follow it up with the move c2, c4, it's not going to be a quiet game.
Right. Nyzhnyk said before the game that he was going all in this game. So he's going to go for the win. He does not want to draw. He just wants to win this thing.
Well, and unfortunately, because of the tiebreak draw odds favor, we got to make hay with the white pieces.
Right.
Correct.
All right.
Let's see what happened after knight f6, knight c3, takes. So white accepts an isolated queen pawn for better development and more space. But on the other hand, black's position is very solid. h3, I'm not a big fan of h3. I understand that after the desirable bishop g5, black in his part plays bishop g4, and after d5 he's got a comfortable game with knight e5. Having said that, there's still, this pin does give some, let us say, troubles.
Right, we're retreating now.
Yeah.
So instead of retreating, we'll just play the prophylactic h3 and just stop all the shenanigans.
Well, fine, but then after the prophylactic h6, the shenanigans for white have been stopped, and this bishop on c1 really doesn't have that bright a future. All right, let's see how it goes. Queen c2, just developing. Not a big fan. I don't think the queen is particularly effective on c2, but let's see. There are issues, pardon me, let me make a bad move for black for just a moment. There are issues here. If you make a bad move, let me just put a bad move on the position. There is a tactic like bishop takes h6, g takes h6, a sacrifice, queen g6 check.
Beautiful.
Which is, as spoken as a true team captain, beautiful. That black has to be careful of, hence we see the move knight a5 to get that bishop
Get him off the diagonal.
For those of you who remember Kasparov-Karpov matches, you'll recall that in a number of those matches, Karpov as white actually played the move a2, a3 in order to keep his bishop on this diagonal. So, like I said, I'm not a big fan of queen c2. Having said that, let's see how the game progressed. Knight a5, bishop d3, bishop e6, black's developing. And again, white has a question. What am I really doing with this bishop on c1? Rook e1, rook e8, knight e5. Now we know what white is doing. White wants to play the move bishop f4, bring his other rook to d1, then he's fully developed and he can start looking for the attack. Black has to stop white from getting a very comfortable position, and so plays the move knight c6. After the trade, well, at least white has doubled up black's pawns, but it's hard to get to him. A weakness is only a weakness if it can be attacked. a2, a3, a little bit of a prophylactic move. Maybe white sometimes wants to gain space over here with b4. Queen d7. By the way, queen d7 sets up
his own
little sacrifice cheapo that you have to keep a careful eye for. Knight e4, knight takes e4, bishop takes e4. Now we're
aiming at it.
Yep.
So we got
bishop
two,
f5.
We got two on it.
Taking advantage of the pin. The bishop came out. We see a trade, and I think we're up to date.
He'll probably play what, rook to e. Well, no, you can't play it. You can't play
then
it
I'll
because of check.
Yeah.
Check.
But let's say he plays a move. Well, let's just say he stops playing games and he just says, take it.
Now
rook over, let's say queen, I don't know, queen c2. Again, these pawns are a weakness, but it's still hard to get at them. And I'm thinking it's still a balanced game. For example, rook to e6, right?
Well, is our d pawn also a weakness for white's d pawn?
Yes, and black will probably have to spend quite a number of moves going after it. It's pretty easy to defend, by the way. I've got this move bishop e3, and if you're not careful, this pawn on a7 can get targeted very quickly. All right, let's go on to our third board. Let me just see what we've got here.
So the third board is Spencer has the white pieces, National Master Spencer Finegold, Ben Finegold's son, against National Master Atulya Vaisya. from Dallas. So Atulya's having a very good year this year in the chess league. 4.5 out of 5, with
Whoa.
only Doug Eckert drawing them in that
that wild game.
in the wild game. Yes.
Wow, what a match. Okay, very, very nice. Let's see what we have. We have a King's Indian defense. We're going to go from the beginning. D4 by Spence, knight F6. So we get all of these nice moves that signify the King's Indian. Bishop E2, the traditional main line, if you will. E5 and the Petrosian variation, which is this early D5.
That's what Spencer said he was going to play. So he's got exactly what he wants at this point.
That's always nice when the opponent plays into your preparation. Now, let's see how good Spencer's preparation is. So the move A5, a very common theme in the King's Indian, is that Black wants to secure this outpost C5 for his knight. And he first does that by playing A5. So it makes it very difficult for White to boot that knight with the move B2, B4. So far, now H3, I'm not a big fan of that move. Obviously, it's preparation by Spencer. If I was working with Spencer before the match, I would have suggested Bishop G5. I'm not a big fan of the move H3.
Yeah, now, unlike in Nyzhnyk's game, where if he played Bishop G4, you would have to retreat Bishop E2 and do all that. So I am actually a fan of your bishop move in this
situation,
in this encounter because you're not losing any tempo by retreating.
Yeah, and you're not afraid of Bishop G4. So having said all of that, why would White play H3? Oftentimes, as we know in a King's Indian, Black's source of counterplay is to play F7, F5. The move H3 sets up a kind of a picket fence. White plays for the move G4, so that whenever F5 is played, you can take with the G pawn and open up the G line for your rook vis-a-vis Black's king.
So in this position, Spencer probably won't castle either side, or
mostly queen side.
queen side. Okay.
Yeah, mostly queen side. Okay, knight A6, bishop G5, queen E8. Now this is a very key move actually, and a very important moment, especially for King's Indian defense players. Oftentimes this pin is very uncomfortable for Black because it's so necessary for Black to get into tempo F7, F5. So he doesn't like this knight being on the F6 square. Queen E8 is a nice move, by the way, because in a weird sense, even though the position's absolutely closed, all 16 pawns are on the board, the queen actually observes both directions, E8 and H5, as we'll see in a second why the move queen E8 is a key move. Knight D2, so that stops any knight H4 ideas because you'll just rip the knight once it lands on H5. King H8, very good move by Black. Black prepares to retreat his knight in order to get this liberating move F7, F5. H4. Well, there you go. So you go H3, H4. Or, you think to yourself, well, wasn't there a better use of a tempo on the queen side? Wouldn't it be better if I played A3 or B3? Okay, H4, H6. First impression is I don't like that move, but okay. I'm basically sure the players are both in their theory book still. Knight H7. Again, straightforward. Black is not being stopped.
So he just gets G4 in there then.
Wow. But I'm not a big fan of this move. Boy, I mean, wait, when are these guys going to play a move that I really, really like?
So they're playing like they're rating, right?
Yeah.
They're not playing like grandmasters. Huh?
I'm not enthusiastic. Why play You've played H4. In the words of the immortal Ben Larson, having said A, you must say B. You played H4, you got to play H5.
So then G5.
G5 is a terrible move. Because now after G4, that's it. The whole Black king side is shut down. There's no F7, F5s. You will be able to play knight to F1, to G3, to F5, and you'll get a crushing strategical bind. After H5, he has to play F5. Takes, queen takes, And now it kind of gets a messy, roddy position. It's kind of hard to say who stands better, except white has a superior pawn structure. At the moment, there's a weakness on g2. But this was not what Spence played. Spencer played g4, f5, takes, 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 knight e4, knight f6, bishop f3, queen g6. Now we can really see why that move, queen e8, was so useful. It got out of the pin, and as it turns out, the queen is now putting pressure on the e4 knight. Now let's see what happened after we're up to date, I believe, with the play.
So how many? So he's got a lot of players on e4 right now coming down. So Spencer's got to address that situation immediately here.
Right. Now, a big question is you want to play h5, queen here. In these types of positions,
You guys actually stuck it to minute.
Yep, it's going to be a long one. It's a barn burner.
one of the key questions in positions like this is the position of the kings, the respective positions of the king. Right now, you might think to yourself that, well, black's king is no great shakes on h8, but actually, it's in the corner, it's well defended.
Yeah, look at how many pieces he's got surrounding him, helping him out. So I think it's going to be tough for Spencer to crack through that.
Exactly. And Spencer, on the other hand, his king is in the center, and normally speaking, it's easier for black when the king is in the center to attack. So if he were to trade, let's say just knight takes e4, and let's just for argument's sake put bishop takes f6 on the board, the problem is white's still a long way away from solving the riddle of what do I do with my king.
Well, you got queen to d2 if you would take back with the bishop, picking up a tempo because we're attacking h6 here.
Right. I probably will ignore that threat and play a move like knight b4, checking here, or maybe checking here where I got a little fork going.
Yeah, don't castle in this position. Anybody that
Don't do this at home.
you're doomed. You lose a queen.
So there are some issues here for Spencer, and my first impression is I would rather overall have black's position. I'm not a big fan of this pawn on h4. If this rook were on g1, it would make all the difference in the world, frankly. That's a very important attacking move to have in, and with the queen on g6, it stops that.
What about knight to g3 in this position?
Yeah, that's also a very good move. You're not trading off this knight, which at the moment blocks that bishop, so it's nice to leave the knight back on g3. The question is, can you exploit the fact that you've encouraged this bishop that was on f5 to move into your camp on d3? So black has ideas like knight b4, knight c2, as we've seen before, and he might be just threatening to take that pawn. So knight g3, bishop d3. You don't want to play a move like b3 because that really does encourage black to play e4, which, there's latent threats along the h8, a1 diagonal. So I like the move knight g3, bishop d3. Now I have to decide, how can I kick this bishop out?
How about we try to get tricky
Yes.
with rook g1 now?
Rook g1 now. Okay, so just show us what you want to do. You wanted to
I just want to be tricky.
yeah, you wanted to have a tempo against the queen on a good day. I get it, I really do. But again, white's king still in the center of the board, and you're vulnerable to this knight fork.
How about you can stop this at any time. How
Sure.
about king to d2 here? So now our queen is protecting her rook, and our knight is free to
Rock and roll.
right with the discovery.
Okay.
Not that and the more that I look, I don't see any good discoveries here.
Right. So if I go bishop takes c4, I mean, it would be great if you could play knight f5. Then you would be gaining a discovery, and you'd probably be winning a piece. The problem is, with the move bishop c4, I've set up for
A big check.
Big check.
Big check.
A big fat check right here in the middle of the board.
Well, I'm glad Spencer's playing this game and not me. If
St. Louis is glad.
yes, yeah.
The whole town.
The whole region, yeah.
The whole town.
Yeah.
The whole town's happy. But okay, so Spencer's got some issues that he's got to address. Let's go to our last board, which has actually been a very interesting game.
Yeah, Rosenthal, Nicholas Rosenthal, he goes to Lindenwood University. He's been tearing up the chess league this year. He's 7 out of 8 this year, and he won his quarterfinal matchup as well.
Okay.
So we're very happy to have him on the
Yes.
team this year.
He's been terrific.
Yep,
Absolutely
bright
terrific.
star.
Okay, and dare I say it, yet another French defense. Rosenthal has actually been very loyal to the French defense, and he's done very well with it
Yep.
throughout not just this season, but his chess career. And this is the traditional Steinitz variation, A7, A6. Remarkably, for a variation that literally is 100 years old and has had thousands of games been played, there's a large number of moves for black that you can't believe. There is the traditional move A7, A6. Oops, let me go back to the start and do it a different way. I beg your pardon. Okay, I'm going to do this. I beg your pardon. Whoops. Oh, that was interesting. I got an update. How cool is that? Okay, now where's my controls? Yeah, there we go. Okay, and I want to go back to the beginning. But then I want to go move by move. There we go.
Perfect.
Okay, so what I wanted to say is you get to this position, and before you see the move A6, in the past, F5 was played. The idea was that since white wants to one day play F5, you just get it in and you say, I'm blocking up the position. That used to be an old treatment. An ultra-modern treatment was a pawn sacrifice, G5.
I have not seen that.
Oh, one of Nakamura's favorite gambits, actually. He used to play it in tons of blitz games. Alexander Morozevich, one of the most creative players in the chess world today, has been experimenting with B7, B6. And finally, there's also this well-trodden path. This is I even believe they call it the French endgame, where black just trades off everything. White has a square D4 that he often uses like this, but Evgeny Badiev, Michael Gurevich, some of the world's top grandmasters, Alexander Chernin, have played this position for black. They like it, even though white's slightly better. Garry Kasparov won against Badiev, an absolutely fantastic game from that ending. So A6 is the long-time traditional mainline move. Everything is okay up to here, and this move, Bishop D3, is a surprise move for me. I think everybody and his brother has played Bishop E2 traditionally. Bishop D3, and the first time I saw that, I said, oh my God, D4 wins a piece. And I thought that was it. And I thought that the white player from Dallas had overlooked D4, but apparently this looks to me like he had everything under control. Yes. Thanks to this move, Bishop E4, white is not losing a piece, as both the knight on D4 as well as the bishop on A8. It's a double attack. Now that was a bold move.
That's not actually how this game progressed, is it?
Yes, this is.
Okay.
So this is the actual game. Now, knight B6 was actually a very bold move by Rosenthal. I thought he was going to play knight takes C2 check, giving back the piece. Bishop takes C2,
right.
Bishop takes E3, queen takes E3, and white's a little bit better thanks to his space.
You're even, yeah.
Yeah, but
Materialized, right.
Right. Materially, they're even. But that was not what he did. He played knight B6, B3. Oh, wow. That is wild. I thought that bishop takes A8, knight takes A8 castles is simply excellent for white, thanks to this pin on the d file as well as this bishop on e3 attacking c5. But it's very clear to me now, after the move b3, that white wanted to stop knight c4. Ooh, very handsome double attack. If the queen moves, then knight takes e3.
Yeah, and then
Thanks to
even I can see this time.
All of St. Louis is buzz with joy.
Right.
So we saw the move b3. Okay. Now, did Rosenthal have a good follow-up against b3? Rook a7.
All right, now we can
Castles.
swing the rook. Yeah.
Whoa.
Jennifer Shahadi would be so proud right now.
Rook d7, queen. So black's a piece up. And white had better come up with something really good. f5. And I think we're up to date with f5. Whoa. Now, why did Nick play f5? Okay, queen f2. What is white's threat? I suppose it's
So
slow. Something as slow as rook d3 and rook d1. Okay. We've got
It's
some
a
gaggling
frenzy out there.
It's a
I can't
frenzy
believe
out
how
there.
good Rosenthal's doing out there.
The cheerleaders cannot be restrained.
Right.
My goodness. Okay.
So now all Rosenthal has to do,
Is consolidate his extra piece.
yes, sir.
But it's not so easy.
All chess members, if you want some people, hit me up.
All right, thank you, sir. Yeah,
Oh,
they
man.
treat us right at Kingside Diner, right next door at the chess club.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're seeing this kind of remarkable move f5. I would not have guessed that move at all. I would have looked at b4. Maybe it's not a good move, but I would have certainly given it my attention. The idea is I'm hoping that white will allow me to trade in
Right,
the
and then we
castle,
win.
and I win very, very nicely. But after b4, the knight would be driven to a passive square. You certainly would not want to play the move knight a4 because that lets me really gummy
Right.
up your pawn.
I mean, that's really what Black wants to do in this position, right? Is get his bishop to a7, protected by his rook. So he, well, maybe not.
Well, I'm just thinking that in any case, to gain some space, Mike, after b4, the knight is driven back. Castle, rook to d3, and it's a wild position. I'd have a hard time making heads or tails out of this. If I wanted to play f5, I could always get that move in. But as it is, what he did is he played f5 right away. Now, clearly, if you get the bishop to drop back to d3, then you're really, really happy because then the pressure on the d file has been neutralized. The big question is, how will the game continue after takes en passant? Queen takes f6. Looks right? Rook d3, castles, rook d1, rook d8, and Black has maintained his extra piece for the time being. This variation may continue. Bishop h7 check, king h7, knight e4, attacking the queen, attacking the bishop. Now, before you get yourself all excited and say, move your queen and I end up capturing on d4, one variation you got to keep in mind is, whoa, where did that come from? Knight takes d3 check with the nasty, evil intention of queen a, and this would be winning for Black. So there's no bishop takes sacrifice. Maybe this is just a good position for Black, and maybe Nicky's a genius with f5.
What about bishop c6?
Bishop c6, clearly pinning. I'm obliged to take. Knight takes c6, bishop takes c5. Now I've got one pawn for the piece, but I don't think it should be sufficient after knight d5. I mean, I've got domination on the dark squares. That's good. That's very good, in fact, but it shouldn't be worth an entire piece.
Right. I think White's objective in this position is to keep all the pressure on the D file and not give it up for anything at this point because, he's down a piece, right?
Yeah, well, you want to get
You
it
got
back.
to try to get that knight back at all costs.
Well, the other line that we could consider is takes on f6, takes on f6. Now, a move like b4 looks really sharp to my eyes, and I can easily imagine that this would rebound against white and in black's favor. For example, knight e2 check. You can't take with the knight because of the very pretty checkmate in one move. That is clear to us. If you take with the queen, then queen takes. And now you're threatening bishop takes e3 check. So how about bishop takes c5? Isn't this wonderful for
Black.
white? No, it's not.
No, same
Because
thing.
after queen a3 check, queen
You-
a1 mate,
Yeah, mate, yeah.
it's just
Same
flat out
thing.
same thing.
Same thing.
Same thing. I wanted to point out a well-known pattern. Check. Mate is better than check, by the way. Knight here, and the well-known patterns of mates that occur either on the b2 or a2 square. So this is all looking to be in black's favor. So no b4 is what I'm saying here. Good. All right, let's.
But I hope for all of our sakes that Nicky takes back with the queen because there's a lot of great things going on in that diagonal if his opponent does capture en passant.
Well, besides en passant, you really don't want to step back because that means that black
Right.
got this very useful tempo in for free.
Or you just flat out take the bishop, right?
Or castle first, just get your king into safety. You can wait for this rook to slide over, and you can always one day end up capturing this bishop over here.
The only thing about castling first, if you take knight takes bishop, bishop takes bishop, attacks the rook right off the bat.
Oh, sure. But for example, after bishop f3 castles, right? If you play rook d3, first of all, I really want to toss this move b4 in super badly, just to get this knight to go into
Sure.
some kind of horrible
Go back.
crawl.
Home.
Yeah. Now I got a lot of the dark squares over here, nice and happy. Let's put some moves on the board for a second. What can we do that I like? Let's say boom, 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 boom. How about this as a move? Queen c7, first of all. So I've got some evil intentions I'm looking towards this pawn on c2. What do I mean by that? Let's say knight, rook here. I'm looking at an idea like knight takes c2. Just to expose white's queen. Oh, I'm going to expose his king a little. Sorry, maybe bishop c3. There's no real way of taking advantage of this nice line. I was hoping to make some very nice tactics work. I don't think I did a very good job in that particular case.
In that position, couldn't you just consolidate after knight? Well, I mean,
played knight takes c2. I could consolidate like this.
No! Even in that knight takes c2 line.
Yes.
So knight takes, bishop takes, rook takes. Now queen takes.
I've got it.
But we're going to be down.
That's why.
In any event, we'd be down. Yeah.
No, at the moment,
yeah.
at the moment, material's dead even. By the way, and maybe this line is actually still quite okay for black after, let's say, queen takes. I mean, it's dead even. But I was trying to actually look for a line that's very promising for black, and I didn't find it with the move queen e7. I have to do a little bit better. I could even potentially play slowly a5 and just come out here to grab this rook. If the rook drops back to d2, I'll grab this bishop. So you're right, even though when you do grab this bishop, I've got a pretty nice position here actually for black. I'm happy. Let us see what's happening in the other boards, but
Okay,
so far it's
good.
been a pretty tough match on all the
So
games.
we'll see how Rosenthal's opponent eventually replies to f5 there.
Okay, let's just get. In fact, let's get updated on what actually happened in the game. Okay, I think it's game 8, right? Copy, game 8. Okay, wow. Okay, so what actually happened, we've seen this position. This was the bishop e4 variation. Uh-oh, I did something wrong. I apologize. Let me go fast to position.
You get a nice recap of the game.
Yeah, exactly.
So in case you're just tuning in, here's the game. And
Now we saw this move b3, and we were expecting rook a7.
yes.
Castles, rook d7, queen f2, f5.
Oh, so he
B4
did play
in this
b4 right away.
Position. Okay, we were looking at en passant mainly.
Yes.
And white did not like those positions, and I understand why. Knight c4. Wow, let's see if we can understand what's going on, because this is very confusing for me. Okay, let's do the obvious. Bishop takes, why not?
Sure.
We're attacking this knight here, we're attacking this bishop here. But white has the move bishop takes d4, attacking this knight. So we could trade.
Or can we just take the bishop in this instance and then get the knight back?
So rook takes.
Oh no.
Rook takes. No, don't stop yourself. Here you've sacrificed an exchange, but look at white's exposed king. You can always get the exchange back with bishop c5. So this might have been a very decent line too.
So if the bishop takes
on b4, which is our main move,
and then bishop takes,
our main reaction. Now, in this, the problem is we would really like to play knight c4, but then we have to analyze the consequences, and they are complicated consequences of bishop c6. I still think this is a good position for black. For example, the move queen a5 sets up the threat of check and checkmate. If you take the rook, you've still got to address this threat. If you go back, something tells me this king is not very happy camper down here. I mean, black is looking really for choice. So I like black's position after the move b4 was played, but he played knight c4. So knight c4 is a clear indication he wants to go queen a, because we see those patterns all the time. We see those checkmating patterns.
but he takes it, okay.
And now it's black to play, and whether it's good or bad, that's a different issue. But in my opinion, it's a certainty that when he played knight c4, his expectation was queen a5.
Yeah, let's go.
I'm going to go get you in a checkmate because your king is so exposed. Now,
So the knight is under attack on c3, and we got a devastating check here coming
correct.
up.
So let's try to address both those issues by dropping our knight back. So now our knight's not under attack, and we're defending the square. Now, the straightforward line that, like everybody wants to do is
Right.
queen takes a2
But it doesn't look
and
like it's going
checkmate.
to work because of bishop takes.
Well, it doesn't mean it's the end of the line necessarily. Again, black isn't a piece down. He may not be a piece ahead, but this queen, even if the computer says no checkmate between two humans, we don't like that queen being an uninvited guest.
And now we have a great move if white would pass with e3.
Okay, I'll pass. You mean because after e3, I can't take it.
Right. Well,
And if I'm forced to move the queen, you wanted to
right.
take the bishop, which is a nice idea, of course, and set up for a mate. So this looks pretty attractive to me. let's
But
see if it's if the game.
I would be.
By the way, we're on to something here.
I would be shocked if Rosenthal did not play Queen A5.
Well, you will not have to be shocked, Mike, because remarkably enough, he did play Queen A5, and Knight C3 was in fact the reaction of White. Now, Queen takes A2 is not forced either. We could hold off on that move. We could take the bishop. So we could set White up for a cheapo if he takes with the rook. Now he's got no bishop D4 answer
Right.
to Queen takes A2. So he probably have to
actually
take with the
no
bishop.
answer, yeah.
Now we could get our king out of hock, maybe set up ideas of rook to, and I like that tactic that you mentioned very much. In fact, I like that idea of E3 as a decoy. I mean,
Right, yeah.
I loved it. By the way, when I was a kid, even though I didn't understand the tactic very well, I liked the word
Yeah.
decoy.
Decoy.
Hey, man, he just like
It's an exciting word. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I got him with the decoy, and he collapsed. You know, what can I say? So we're looking good. That is to say, St. Louis, and we're very partial. By the way, this is not an impartial.
Yes, I am
broadcast.
the manager of the team. So
Yeah, we're not neutral on this.
I'll get in big trouble if we
broadcast,
don't
everybody.
win. Yeah. So
No, you don't. You get fired.
just fired. Yeah, just fired. Yeah. Life goes on, right?
Yeah, I mean, we got an easy replacement for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, captains are a dime a dozen these days. There's a lot of captains out there that need a job.
Keep looking. Keep looking.
Move along. Nothing to see.
No occupancy. Let's go.
Okay, let's see our game one. Let's bring this, our first board.
All right, we're back
Okay.
to the Nyzhnyk Holt game.
And I think it's game 5. Yes.
All right, get that.
There is a God. He loves me. Okay. When we left it, we'll just go back. We were back around. We were looking at actually an endgame very.
Yeah,
This was what we saw. They followed our analysis. This is
Oh, okay.
Rook E2, King F1, and again, White is probing here. I'm not saying it's a big advantage or anything like that. He's simply probing. These pawns are more vulnerable than the D4 pawn. Queen B7. Okay. By the way, I think that was a very good plan by Holt to trade bishops. And now they're in a queen and pawn ending. And this move was a very good move, activate. Because basically what White wanted to do was bring his king up to C3 and very, very slowly just simply squeeze his opponent off the board.
Well,
With the queen coming here, there's a check on the back rank, so
Right,
that
yep.
rules that out. And there's also the activation move, Queen E4. And normally speaking, queen endgames are so difficult that whenever there are perpetual checks in the position, the chances of a draw are much higher than the chances of a win.
yes.
So this looks, I'm going to say I would rather play White, but it's closer to a draw than a win. Small advantage.
And you don't think there's any possibility of a queen trade? Holt would probably never go for a queen trade in this position,
He
right?
should be very leery, let's put it that way, of trading queens. Basically, he wants to activate his queen, keep it on the board, and play as many checks as he possibly can.
Yep. So, well,
So here, for example, it might look very sensible to play a move like queen to c5. It looks attractive. You're attacking a7, you're attacking g5, and you're thinking that if you do take the pawn on a7, you've got an a-pawn express to promotion. However, the problem is that black plays queen e4, not worrying about either one of his pawns. If you take the pawn on g5, then black is very happy taking this one on d4. If you take the pawn on a7, black is very happy taking this one. And suddenly, again, black is closer to perpetual checks than white. White is a long way from
it's
making a
not
queen.
looking good. So if I
For a
had
win.
if I had to guess, I'm gonna predict right now half.
On this game.
Yep.
Okay.
Hopefully not the whole
whole match,
because
yeah.
if the match is drawn, bye bishops. It's onward to the
Exactly.
championship for Dallas.
All right, so let's go to our board 2. We're going to come back to Lee Akobian.
So now this puts the onus on the rest of the archbishops to win, which Rosenthal is taking the
He looks good.
steam. So now let's see what Akobian can figure out. Hopefully he can
Exactly.
get us a point here.
The whole point.
The whole point.
Copy game 6.
Because essentially we would have to go 2 out of 3 if game 1 ends in a draw.
Right.
We'll have to win 2 out of 3.
There we go. Okay, so when we left it, we were in parts and well known. There was a bishop check. We liked king b1 because we wanted to keep the b2 square up and occupied. Mike, you're going to have to take a bow. Knight e5 was Bar's move. Yeah.
You can't resist the
Yeah.
trick. Who cares if we're going to have a nice centralized knight on a d5 when you can do a trick like that?
You know, I was the coach in the 1980-81 World Championship cycle of Viktor Korchnoi. And I had such an example where, you know, a move I suggested was played. And Victor looked at me with disgust and he said something to the effect that, well, every now and then the blind chicken finds the corn, the seed corn. You know, like, okay, thank you for the compliment. I get it. You know, knight e5. Okay, it does have a very direct idea. You know, you want to pressure this pawn on d4.
Yep.
Hence came the move c4. Now, why would you play c4? Well, it does give you the square c2 to go to protect this pawn in case that pawn is directly attacked. And after the en passant, well, the knight on a4 gets to come back. So this looks pretty reasonable by Lee.
Wow, that looks...
Knight came back nonetheless to c6. Now knight c2. Okay. So there must have been a very specific reason that white rejected d5. Let's see if we can't figure it out ourselves. So after the move d5, let's move our knight here to b4, attacking this pawn for the 3rd time. And if you capture, trying to maintain your extra wood material, there may be this very obscure looking bishop d2 that throws white off for the moment. Black, you remember black sacrificed a pawn ages ago for activity. Keep in mind this rook on h1 doesn't look that great, and neither does this knight on e1. I suspect this is what Lee did not like, which is why he played the move knight c2. But now, having played knight c2, there comes rook g2. Akobian's rooks. Excellent. It looks like black's a clear favorite to win back his pawn. Now comes the move d5. Knight switches back to e5. Now a lot of white pawns are on prise. Rook to d4. Straightforward idea of attacking the bishop. Whoa. This is either very cool or something's wrong. I mean, it's one or the other. It's either a very, very cool sacrifice or Akobian has missed something. Okay, let's see if we can understand. So rook takes f4. I attacked the bishop. You didn't move it. I took it. Your turn. Now, one of the things we notice is that this knight is on prise, or rather it's under attack, but it's defended by the king. The next thing we notice is that these two knights aren't protected and the c-file is open. So we start to think that Akobian's idea is related to the knights in the middle, in midair, so to speak. Okay? Now, we can't defend, white cannot defend the knight with king to b2 because the simple knight d3 check will force the king away, and that's all she wrote. So this is for sure what Akobian has in mind then. But
I have
hold
a
on.
prediction. Yes. If Akobian wins this game, he'll get a game of the week for sure. for that move. I mean, that's
For by our standards, he got the game of the month. I mean, we'll give him
playoff MVP.
Yeah, top agent of the day award. I mean, let's get serious. Like okay. So maybe this is why White's hesitating. Grandmasters, when they offer you pawns and pieces, just don't take them right away. I mean, these guys don't give things away for free. No free lunches in St. Louis, I can tell you. Okay, so rook d4. So one more time. Rook takes f4, rook c3. Do we have some kinds of cheapos?
I'm thinking about like throwing in a check. Then you can throw in the rook check, and who knows?
One cheapo that I like is you can't play king f6 because of oops.
Yep.
That's a horrible fork. That's a real messed up fork. But don't put your king there. Oftentimes it's overlooked by amateurs in the sense that they like to win pawns. I like to win pawns. But sometimes you can use your opponent's pawns as a natural shield for your own king. So you could play a move, for example, like king d7 and say, ha 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 ha, you can't check me because that pawn actually gives me protection. So I like this move, king d7. And let's go back a move. If this knight were simply to move, something like, well, that's really helping black. Now the rooks are doubled and it's all very nice for black. If the knight were to move another way, for example, out here, then that's even worse because we call this two pigs on the seventh. I mean, and they're greedy, those rooks are. So, this might just work out very well for Var.
So it looks like Var, in addition to playing well, obviously, possibly the best, he's gaining on time as well from his time deficit in the opening.
And you mentioned his lateness to the game, and that actually is because he had to fly in from LA, right?
Yes, he flies in for LA. That's how much of a team player he is. He's dedicated to the team immensely.
Right.
And we appreciate that for sure.
Okay, so that's Var's game. Rosenthal. Whoa, let's go to that Rosenthal.
Is that a knockout by now?
It's looking really good. As a team captain, you're gonna.
I'm ready to write that one down.
No, I understand, but look what has happened.
All right.
When we left it, we'll go back a few moves. We left it about these parts. That was where Nick came up with the move. Knight c4 takes queen a5. We saw that coming from a long ways away. Knight came back to b1. Knight e2 check.
That one was not.
We saw a number of occasions that we were trying these knight e2 check kind of tactics. So let's see. Queen takes a2. Queen takes a2. With the clever idea of knight e2 is a moment ago there would have been a bishop on d4 and a queen on f2. Remember? So Nicky's idea is if white tries to stop the mate, the bishop is not protected by the queen, so queen b2 is coming regardless. So instead, after knight e2 check takes, queen takes, basically, essentially saying is, you can't cover the b2 square. We saw rook takes d7, queen b2 check, king d1, bishop what? Now why did he play bishop takes d7? Holy cow. I thought he was being very clever and he was going to take here, here, and only afterwards take here. So let's see why he did what he did. Okay.
That better be a good reason.
And I'm sure there is.
Okay.
So bishop takes d7. How weird is this, by the way? It's not often you see a position where like almost all of white's minor pieces are hanging. The bishop on e4 is hanging, the knight on b1 is hanging with check. The bishop on e3 is attacked, but it's not quite hanging.
If only white could castle the other way. Maybe
like a Fisher random
maybe
game, right?
living large,
Yeah, okay, but this looks really, this, I tell you, I mean, I don't know what the times are, by the way, but I do understand chess, human psychology. You don't like your king being bombed out of, your castle position and you're taking a walk. I understand, king walkers, like the idea of, getting out of dodge. But for the moment, white can't simply do that because he's got too many pieces hanging. If white were to make a defensive move, let's say like this, he's got survival chances, but really, this is just such a nice position for black. Whenever you want it, you got this check, which is always very useful, but you don't need it. You simply need to play bishop to c6, bring your rook out, bring your bishop to e4, pardon me, and I guarantee you this is great.
I don't know if
so this
we
is
got
the
that
current
past
position.
A pawn too. That's only 5 away.
Choo up the board.
But obviously your idea of getting all your pieces out is superior to that. But just a long-term plan,
right?
Where really that pawn can move.
By the way, I think that's very important too. That even while grandmasters are calculating, great attacking plans and bringing their pieces to good squares, in the back of the mind is sort of like, hey, my ace in the hole when nothing else works, I still got a passed A pawn that might just bring, me glory. So this looks, again, a very nice position for Nick.
But it's not a knockout yet.
Not a knockout yet. It is not over till it's over.
You want to check out the Spencer games?
I do indeed.
See what's happening there.
Okay, Spencer.
Because his game just got a lot more important with, every game's more important with the strong possibility that Nyzhnyk is going to draw Holt.
Copy game 7, I believe. Oh, sorry. I did something wrong. I apologize. Copy game 7. And there we have it. Now, I mentioned that what was really kind of bugging me was this the fact that white's king was still stuck in the center of the board, whereas black's king on h8, it might appear vulnerable at first sight, but there's a lot of defenders in the vicinity. We left it, it was h5.
Okay, yeah, we didn't actually see that on the board, but we were analyzing that.
Yeah, we were looking at h5 as well as knight g3. I think we...
Yeah, or even knight takes f6. Those were the 3 possibilities.
Right.
Right.
So h5, okay, and now the key moment, and this is where Spence lashed out.
Wow.
Well, we're gonna hold off on that top agent of the day award for a moment. So knight g5, either this is genius or ignominy.
I really do like how all the archbishops, are going for it. We're not holding anything back.
Right.
We're all just trying to ram it down the throat. If it doesn't work, we left it out there. As they say. We left it on the field.
Yeah.
Our king on the ground, but we left it on the field. In
a blaze of glory,
right,
going down in a blaze of glory. Now, I'm not a big fan of what white just did, by the way. I mean, I'd spank Spencer, 5 ways to Sunday for first play because I'm not impressed. But after, I got to consider that a major error, taking on h6. That gives Spencer good reason to be optimistic.
So king g8, are you thinking
I'm just
about,
wondering what the heck is going on here. Bishop?
Because you got to be really careful here for black. I mean...
Well, of course. I mean, a king g8 takes is like one of those positions where, again, black's king looks like it could be loose, but in reality, white still got the same issues with his king, and you can shut down the G file when necessary with G4. I'm just thinking that whether it's good or bad, I mean, this is what Spence played for.
Right.
I mean, you're allowing this H file to be open, and bishop takes G5, so that's 2 pieces and a rook for the queen.
Wow. So this is the live game board?
I believe we're on the live. I believe this is the position that, yes, this is. So we're up to date. 2 pieces, 2 minors, and a rook for the queen.
I love the count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Spencer's got 19 points, if you just go by points. And then 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So if you're just going by the points, Spencer's down 21 to 19.
Right. And that's interesting the way you did it versus the way I do it. The way I do it is I just say, okay, the material imbalance is white's got a queen. Cool. So what does black have for it? 2 minors, 6, and a rook 5.
So 11 to 9.
11 to 9. There you go.
Yep.
But having said that, in these positions, it's really about king position. Okay. If white were on move, he'd be playing rook g1 and he'd be going after black's king, right?
That'd be over.
Well, yes and no. I mean, so I'm just saying that if I were in black shoes,
okay, you play rook f7.
I would play rook f7 as maybe a starter with the idea to meet rook g1 with rook g8 or to be able to double like this. Now, I think that black is winning materially.
Yes.
That's, we can't dispute that. But it's really about black's king, or white's king in this case, who can get there firstest with the mostest. And I think after rook f7, black king is safe. Safe is a relative. Black has a lot of defenders, let's say.
Yeah, the really bad thing that Spencer's going to have, a very uphill battle to win this is because he's got nothing to attack in this position at all.
Right. I mean, these guys are not targets by any means. No, they're very solid. So we could play a move like rook h1. How do you say? Threatening to threaten. And let's say rook g8, queen h, and black just kind of makes a frontal barrier, if you will. And one day, maybe not too far in the future, that knight is going to end up in a very beautiful central light square, and black is looking very good, unfortunately, in this game. Very good.
So the way I would put that one in is Spencer has little to no winning chances while his opponent does.
Yes, exactly.
but Spencer could theoretically get a perpetual check down the line.
So at the moment, we're thinking Nyzhnyk is making a draw. This is the position that I have.
So Nyzhnyk draw.
Yeah.
Rosenthal. Well, we can't write down anything yet on that one.
Well, we're just looking very good in that game.
We're looking good, yes.
Akobian, let's go to that game again because that's very important. And again, this is our board 2. Copy game.
Yes, sir.
I have a question. I heard that if it's a 2-2 match tie, that St. Louis is eliminated and Dallas moves on. Explain this whole concept.
Sure. Okay. So we play 10 regular season matchups, right? And both of us finished 6.5, 3.5 with the same record. However, Dallas got the tiebreaker and they won the division title over us because they had more game points in the regular season.
While you might have been winning matches 2.5, 1.5, they were winning their matches 3-1, for example.
Right, exactly.
That was the tiebreaker.
So they tabulated more game points. Not many more, but they did it. And so, and as their prize, they've got draw odds in this match. But we got the color choice. Awesome. Bring them in. Everybody's excited about the USCL playoffs.
Yasser, what would you like? Water?
Coke, please.
A water would be excellent too.
Okay.
Boss man told me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I can have a party.
We gotta have a party. Yeah, you're on live TV right now, buddy.
I am.
Yep. Got some massive screen time.
Oh my god, I was on YouTube.
Oh my god. So exciting.
So we did see the move.
Hey, yeah.
Yeah, that was your 15 minutes of fame. It's over now.
15 seconds.
15 seconds of fame.
Rook d4. This is where we had left it. Rook takes f2. Rook takes f4. Rook c8. And now rook c4.
Actually, I was kind of anticipating him playing that, actually.
Okay, now.
But I don't know if it actually solves the problem.
Well, there's a lot of problems that white now has. These two
Right.
knights are in a very unpleasant circumstance because essentially white is forced to bring his king
Oh, that's
to a very unhealthy square.
interesting.
Instead of king b2.
Pardon me?
Knight d1.
Knight d1.
You just lose the knight, unfortunately.
Go knight to the double back.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, black will have an extra pawn in this rook ending.
Extra pawn.
Checkmate.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah, done. Yeah, done.
And I think
Yeah, black.
it's not just the extra pawn, it's also the superior position of the king and the superior position of this rook. This rook is ready to zoom over to h4, keeping this guy passive. And
I agree it's bad, but I mean, is that less bad than this damage exchange? Maybe it's happening here.
yeah, this difficulty of understanding the lesser evil. In this case, I would probably want to keep the pieces on the board rather than give one of them go into a rook ending. Let's put it that way. So after king b2, I hit this fellow. And let's say I go here with a nasty threat. So then you go back. Now I'm in a pin. Now I'll attack this rook. Now this rook is likely to go over here anyway. Now at some moment, my only chance is connected with this pawn. So I'll move my rook here, hoping that you take, which is, by the way, probably winning for you. Check, king here. Now, on a very glorious day...
Yeah, you need to get the
I
knight
gotta
on
get-
c5 or e5 fast.
This should simply be winning for black, these connected passed pawns, but it's white's essentially only chance. So Akobian looks very good in this game, and let me just see the latest and greatest of their
And
position.
Akobian, I mean, this goes without saying, is a
Akobian's
very,
opponent.
very good endgame player. So,
You don't become one of the best in the United States without
Right.
becoming good in any.
Right.
And King B2, by the way, was in fact Akobian Lee's move. The queen ending looks fine. Let's see.
yeah, is Rosenthal about to knock him out yet? Or
Let's have
what's
a
the
look.
deal?
See. Copy game 8, and we're up to date. We left it basically here. Bishop takes d7 was the move that we had left it at.
Correct.
And instead of moving his bishop or moving his knight or doing anything, Dallas
So at this point,
played c6.
I mean, he should just take the knight with check, right? I mean, what's the delay?
Yeah.
What's the delay?
Yeah, I think
You just do it.
personally I would just do it. I mean, you
It's
know,
like,
and
it's
I'm
not a bad move.
I'm not getting paid by Nike to say that, by the way. I would just do it. Take it, force the bishop
Right.
to backwards. I would take it. I would lose no, I wouldn't lose. I would trade the bishops. And after queen takes, I would want to play rook to get my rook into the game. That's the worst case. Now, the best case is I can improve upon that variation I just showed by being crafty.
So the only other alternative in this position is bishop to c8, right?
There may be a reason, I can't think of it right offhand, but there is a knight b2 check to force the king, and maybe you always look at
Sure,
checks as but okay, bishop c8 is another potential move. Then this bishop has to go somewhere. I think it should block the d.
Well, this is
file.
well, okay. Well, let's. Okay. I'm sorry. I was talking about after c6 in this position. If we don't take the knight, our only other alternative is to play bishop to c8.
That's right. Yeah.
If we
Makes
haven't
sense.
done that yet. Yeah.
Right.
But obviously he should just take the knight. with check.
Well, there's one other thing that you want to consider is taking the bishop with check. Take the knight, look at the rook, and now we could go into some ending that might look like this. We don't even have to go into that ending. We could go here, and we've got an ending that might be very attractive. It's a rook ending where black has an extra pawn and a better king.
Yeah, but it's not a knockout. It's not a knockout.
No, it's not.
And anything can happen. You would hate to be 1.5, and have to win that to advance for the championship.
True enough, but still, Nikki's looking good. All right. Okay, so have we gone through the whole gamut?
Yes.
Okay, that's very good.
You want to go back to Nyzhnyk to see if it's still a draw?
All right.
Just very briefly.
Oh, no problems at all. Let's have a look. Copy, game,
see.
5. And,
Okay. Enough said.
well, not much progress has been made. The king is a little bit more active. That's useful. And now the question is, what happens if we go with galloping Dorothy? Let's go takes.
Yeah.
Let's go takes. Takes. And now let's just find out. Okay, I'm a simple kind of guy. I want to move that pawn essentially up the board.
And then you'll just get check nonstop here, right?
That's the question. Do I just get check nonstop? Check.
Don't. Oh, okay. Yep. Be careful.
Be careful.
Don't lose your queen.
I'm going to kind of slalom my way up the board.
I like it.
Okay. But the problem is, I might be just walking to some kind of massive perpetual check kind of variation that I can't get out of. On the other hand, when I have white in such positions, there's really only two results. I win because my passed pawn, or it's a draw.
Right.
I don't lose. I mean, I can't
nice.
lose the game unless I walk into a mate. But barring, you better give me a perpetual check to save the game. That's really
right.
And that's a success, by the way. Amongst grandmasters, if you get a situation where only two results are possible, you've done your job. I mean, you've gained a big advantage. Now, besides the move queen takes c6, by the way, it's not like 100% I have to, do an all or nothing kind of situation. On a very good day, I might be able to somehow use my king to get to c5. Let me see if I can't demonstrate what I mean by that. First of all, I need to control your queen. So let me control your queen, for example, by moving my queen here.
So if you give up that square, can he just play like queen to e6 then?
Yes, I think that's a very decent and fair move on your side.
But what if...
I want to play b5. So what I was trying to say, and probably not doing a very good job, is, okay, in my dream world, I'd have something like this. Why do I consider this a dream for white? Because essentially it's 2 versus 1. I've got a king and a queen. You've got a queen. Your king is not in the fight, right?
Yeah.
And I'm trying to throw in ideas like king. I'm trying to bring my queen up here. I'm trying to go, in short, I've got more space in an active king. You've got an active queen, always lurking to give me perpetual checks. But again, white for choice. There's 2 results that are possible. By the way, these times are right or wrong?
They're wrong. Incorrect. I would imagine Holt has about 28 minutes if I had to just guess.
Okay, let's just see if I can. Yeah, I need to refresh or something the board. I'm not quite sure I got that. I'll do Nyzhnyk Holt again. Oh, here it is. 26 minutes to 23.
So 23 minutes. So the time control in this event is 75 minutes with a 30-second increment, no second time control. So every time they move, they get an additional 30 seconds added to their time.
The bonus starting from move one.
Yes.
Very good.
Yep.
And that's from the season through the playoffs.
Right, yeah, it never changes. So all the players have been acclimated with this time control.
And by the way, in the game of Lee and Var, kind of pretty much following some analysis that we gave. Copy game, what was it, 6? Yeah. Okay, so I was mentioning that I wouldn't want to go into that rook ending, Dan, that you mentioned. I would want to keep the pieces. White tried to do that. But at the moment, he's a lot of pawns behind. Play knight d1. Not a big fan. Rook h4. And these knights are looking very passive. Simply passive, right? I mean...
Yeah, they're not trying to check. They're just trying to not get captured.
Right, and that's the problem. They're trying to avoid capture, whereas black has very clear intentions of winning this pawn, and then he'll have a 3-0 majority, presuming any trade.
We would almost love a trade of those pawns, because really we were saying that White's only claim to fame really is that D pawn. If he could somehow get that rook behind it, which is possible now, and check and then get a knight on E5, C5, do some checks and run him off the board there. But if he trades those pawns, I mean, it's I'll write down the game right now.
Well, that's very brave of you. Right? Very brave. Okay, let's go to game 8, shall we? Copy game 8.
Let's see if Rosenthal ever took the knight with check.
So I'm sure he did. So
okay, finally.
We have seen the move c6.
Yay.
We saw check takes. And now check this out. Bam! Bishop takes
that is
c6.
something at least I did not analyze.
Bishop takes c6, king e7. And the cute part here is basically, Dickey says, as soon as I give you a check, I'll drive the king away in such a way that I'll end up capturing this bishop as well. This looks beautiful. This looks like a winner. Stone cold winner.
So I think Rosenthal saw Var's game and said, you're not going to get game of the week. I'm getting game of the week. What a shocker. What a shocker of a move.
Nice. So we're looking good on all the boards save Spencer's. Poor Spencer's taking on all the sins of the team
right.
on his shoulders.
But the one thing good about Spencer is he's got a chance for a perpetual with that queen, It's sometimes tough to make a lot of progress, even if you have 4-2 in the piece advantage when all your pieces are just surrounding your king and not getting checkmated.
Right.
So Spencer, even though he's down those 2 points in material, he's still the aggressor in that game.
All right, let's have a look here. Where are we, Spence? Nope, I've got. That's because I've got Rosenthal's position up. And by the way,
it's just so beautiful. You can't get off the board.
Nicky's opponent has chosen to sacrifice his queen. Queen So excellent. Rosenthal is very, very.
So we were actually going over that before the game. Mm-hmm. Is if we're tied 1.5, and have no legitimate chance to win the game, like in that queen and pawn end game, and your opponent's playing very fast, just sacrifice your queen, and maybe he'll if he's moving fast, he's just like on a king march or something. Mm-hmm. So he's just expecting you to check him and move it back. So when he moves his king, like unbeknownst to him, I didn't actually check your king. I just threatened your unprotected queen. I'll just take your queen, and then we'll win 2.5. Because if we just take the draw 2-2 and we're out.
Okay.
So
You've warned your team to
I've
play for
warned my
cheapos.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
We in the barbaric Northwest salute you.
Yes.
Okay, let's see. Copy. This is game 7. I should memorize these games.
Yeah, so it's 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep.
Okay. So
See-
unfortunately, it appears that Dallas has taken my advice and played the solid move Rook F7 in preparation for Spencer's Rook H1, Rook F8,
So
Rook
Rook
H2, Knight came here,
Threatening a check. All right,
Knight
knight
came
up.
back. This is a very, very big beast. This centralized Knight is looking really good, unfortunately. Queen H6.
So preventing the rook from taking the pawn, obviously.
That would leave a checkmate and 1 on the board. But now this move has a nasty idea of forcing the king.
And then, yep. Boom.
Okay, so that was
He
why
sees it. He sees it.
he had to step back. And now Rook G7.
Look at
a
massive
new-
defense. Massive
A
defense.
new nasty threat.
So
this time-
what about King E1 here then?
And I think Spence is on move, so you're recommending King E1. Looks okay.
I'm
And
not afraid
now-
of that. I'm not afraid of either check. Well, maybe I should be.
A
But I'm
brave
not.
man.
I'm not.
You're a brave man. You're a brave man. We recognize that. Okay. I'm not a big fan of this pin. If I were in black shoes, I would probably be inclined to just step over here.
Well, I got really bad news. The bishop's still in a dream pin because if he moves,
well,
game
that's
over.
true.
Game over.
But what I was,
Just get him over there. Just get him.
I mean, I know it sounds,
Because you got unlimited time here.
I'm just going to make an exit stage left, right? Like get out of Dodge. If I ever get my king nicely sheltered on the queen side, well, then all my pieces can go after white's king. So, I mean, that's the slow, leisurely plan. The other plan, actually, and this is pretty bad too, your queen, as you mentioned, like whenever it's hovering around the king, there's always those perpy chances. There's a good reason to just get rid of it. Just push the queen as far away from your king as you can.
Well, the one thing about that is it allows queen. Yep, you got it.
Queen to E6. Okay. Oh, sorry. Let's make the move. I was just pointing out that the possibility without making it. Okay. G6. Queen to C8 check.
And you got nothing.
That's the end of those checks. But I agree that I wouldn't want to invite the queen to E6. So probably, I know it looks strange, but I would maybe like a move like B6, anticipating that when this king gets all the way over here, it'll find a nice home. And in the meantime, by making the pawn structure all united, the base pawn, C7,
Right.
I got protected.
And then it's just a matter of time, baby.
Slowly. That should be going very nicely in the favor of
But
Dallas.
with Spencer always has, he'll probably have the possibility, and if that happens, he'll probably have to sacrifice the queen for either 2 rooks or the rook and a minor piece.
If he can get it, right?
Yeah, but that's what he'll be going for, and then just be down a piece and a rook and bishop. And let's take a quick look at that game and
Of which
see
one?
The Spencer game and see
The Spencer game.
see what the A pawn is. So he's got the opposite color bishop endgame.
Okay.
So it could come into play, hopefully, to get the draw. I'm thinking way down the line.
Right.
So if like for instance, if Spencer trades the queen for the knight and the rook, and then trades off the rooks and a lot of the pawns, the A pawn with the bishop can't ever, win the game. So long-term possibilities. But But hey, we got to think of any way to get a draw out of this. This could be the difference between.
I like your positive attitude here. Yes, we can. I mean, yes, we can. So B2, B3, and black to play. Black's looking very good. Why did he played the move rook f8? That was very interesting. Oh, hold on. I've done it wrong, as usual. Copy game 7. I think, yeah, so we got, he played queen h. I'm wondering how white got his queen to h4. So, not to allow even the possibility of queen d8, we see rook f8, b3, and now this is the position we have on the board. This is an up-to-date position. To my eyes, I would play the move b6, okay? So now white needs to make a pass move, and I'm not it's not that easy to just make a pass move. Let me throw out one. What I would like to do is I'd like to take this knight. Okay, I've talked about one winning plan, which is to get your king here. Here, let's be a little bit more direct. Give me the queen. So the idea is if you go back to h6 with your queen, I can play knight here to g5. And so my idea behind knight to g5 is besides rook takes f2, I also want to play knight e4, just like that. And if we go back here, if you go rook g1 to
now we're
the
talking.
knight, now we're talking. We got rook f5, and then the knight blocks everything. There's no open g file. There's no sacrifices on h7 or g7. And again, black is ready to start pushing.
I think Atulya, I think he's just going to play the more patient variety because he's really in no rush here.
Right, and he shouldn't be. That's so, you're so eager when you're winning. You want to win. And oftentimes, to really win the winning position, you just milk it slowly. You have to show restraint and patience, but that works more often than
like Rosenthal. Let's see if he's like I've been talking about the knockout for like 45 minutes now, but he's in no rush for the knockout.
By the way, they got it reached a rook ending. Remarkable, almost. You got to give his opponent.
But unlike in that one variation that Danny was talking about, we're on two pawns. Much better.
Count 'em, baby. Okay, we had left it around these parts.
Yeah, you got the. Show the awesome move that he plays. So in this position, instead of the bishop c8 move, he just I don't care. Bishop takes c6.
Well, it was funny because you will recall perhaps I had considered this situation where I'd wanted to bring the rook to the d file.
Yeah.
It's kind of remarkable that he said, I want to bring the rook to the d file and I'm willing to sacrifice the bishop for it. Okay. See, I showed restraint by not sacrificing Nicky's pieces. Okay, so we got to this position. Queen d3, basically the only move. Rook d8. This is snap, crackle, pop. Nicky's winning. King up. Took. Oh, what a cute variation.
What do you play Nyzhnyk instead?
Let's see. What could he have done instead? The question... That looks very attractive. However,
it's the same thing.
I think it's the same thing. There's this very nasty... I don't know, Dan.
So can you go back to bishop takes c6 check?
No way. I can't go back that far.
So did he really screw it up by not playing king f7 in this position?
No. He's winning.
Right.
So he didn't screw up anything. Relax. He just
he did because he has to play king e7 because he's got to have his king protecting d8.
D8.
Okay.
Correct.
Cool.
Okay. But this is all good. This is all good. No panics. So we
Yeah.
won the guy's queen. So
Yeah, I've seen the live position, so I'm happy. But
Right.
I did.
So now the body count is still severe, by the way. Rook comes over to c3 very nicely. Check it out. Check it out. That's 2 pieces on Grand Prix. Rook to b3. Now this one is actually tough because the minor piece endgame is also very attractive.
Correct.
Rook takes, pawn takes.
I think the only reason why he might not have done this is because he won't have 2 passed pawns in this variation.
Exactly.
Whereas in this variation, he
Where
gets,
in the game he gets the
right.
2
He
passed
would have
pawns.
0 passed pawns actually in the minor piece endgame.
So this is all very good. Ooh, that's a confusing move. I think many people would have simply played b4 with the intention of forcing a king and pawn endgame, thanks to this outside pass pawn. Confusing move. King d7. It's okay. Rook here. King c8. That's okay. I'm a little confused. Rook there. Clearly, what Nicky wants to do, and the reason he played king c8, is he was anticipating coming back with his rook, defending his position, and then
Game over.
yeah, essentially shepherding his pawns with his king up the board.
All right, so the updated scoreboard, unofficial, is we have a win on board 4, draw on board 1, so we need 1 more point.
And we're expecting a
Var to win, but we're expecting. It's not in the
He
books
has
yet.
a winning position, in
All
my
right,
view.
all right.
So Nicky's got a winning position.
So let's check. Yes, Danny.
Why was wrong with king f7 instead of king e7?
Oh, because he's gonna put the question was earlier to not allow the bishop check on a3. Why couldn't he go to f7? It was because the king has to protect d8. When his rook moves to d8, it has to be protected.
Queen d3, don't I still have knight check instead?
So we got here.
Oh.
And the question being asked,
Okay. So he's saying so king f7 with so we're
now we got a check.
all right.
And now we've got some nasty counter. You've always got knight b2. But we've got some nasty counterplay in this variation. Queen f6, Dan. I think that is the likely explanation.
Yeah, I like the way he played it.
It
Obviously,
was winning.
because we got the win.
Yeah, we got the winning position is what we got. King e7, very confusing move there. I'm sure, like I say, b4 and let those doggies.
So that's
doggies
not very
move.
complicated to calculate, right?
Not at all. But this way, by the way, is a very certain way as well.
Right.
I mean, okay, your rook takes up a passive station, but it holds everything on the king side.
Yeah.
And then eventually
It gives your opponent absolutely no hope. Just demoralize him, demoralize Dallas, and it's looking good for the bishops. Yeah.
Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay, we're going to close that one up. And by the way, Nicky's doing very, very nicely. Let's get an update on that game if you don't mind, even though we left it just a moment ago.
Sure.
So our history with the Dallas Destiny is not a new one. We played them last year. Can you talk about that?
Sure, yeah, we played them in the actual USCL championship match, the finals. Yes, because we were in different divisions, I believe, last year, and so there was no draw odds in the playoffs at all last year. So we had Wesley So on the top board, Akobian on board 2. And then Larson on board 3, Matthew Larson, who is now going to a prestigious university. And then we have Spencer on board 4. And Larson and Spencer unfortunately lost. But Wesley So defeated Conrad. And Akobian
Or Liam.
No, it was Var.
Var.
He played Jeffrey Zhang with the black pieces, the E4, E5.
Right.
You know, D6 where you trade off the queens right
Right.
away. It just played a long end game, and Var won. So it was tied 2-2. Unlike in this game where Dallas has draw odds, it's called a gauntlet blitz match. So
It was great.
yeah, it was great. So if you win, you eliminate the opponent and move on. So Spencer, who
And-
lost,
In case you draw, both players are
both players
eliminated.
So Spencer was playing on board board 4 last year, and he was actually playing the same gentleman, Karthik, who he lost to. So he was really geared up for the match, and he eliminated him by beating him. And then they had Frank Guadalupe, number 2, playing on board 3, and they drew. So he
He was
eliminated
eliminated.
him. Then Jeffrey eliminated Spencer, eliminated Larson, so they had some traction. But then Var just took care of business. He eliminated Jeffrey, beat him twice, and then he got Conrad in the final. So we didn't even need Wesley, so
Right.
we just had him in reserve. So that was a lot of fun, and that's how we won the championship last year. Last year, our manager was Alex Marler, and he was very relieved not to lose his job.
No, he got fired.
But
he
yeah.
got fired. He was out of here.
Yeah.
He got yanked.
But yeah, so it was a lot of fun last year. I was the assistant manager last year of the team, but according to the trophy, you never know it. You never know it. So yes,
One
sir.
more question.
Yes, sir.
Why don't we have that crazy Gauntlet Blitz playoff this year?
Yes.
We
That-
would in case of a tie.
Yes. So unfortunately, and actually they have a poll on the top of the USChessLeague.com website. Should playoff matches between two teams whose seeding difference is 1, like us, be decided via draw odds or a blitz tiebreaker? Blitz tiebreaker wins 75% to 25%. So the fans love it, the teams love it,
The commissioner doesn't.
and I guess all that extra work, yeah. So that only the Blitz Gauntlet is reserved for the championship, and not these matchups coming up to it.
We have a very unpopular commissioner running the league. That's the basic answer, right? I mean, that's what I'm hearing.
No.
Okay. By the way, in the game, after move 33, we had the move rook h3. We saw h6 as expected, rook g3, rook c7 as expected. Hey, look at this. They followed everything.
Perfect, yep.
Rook e7. And this is now, it's Nikki's turn to say, hey, looky, I got 2 connected pass pawns on the queen side. Rook g3, king came up. Rook dropped over to c7. I'm still kind of confused.
Yeah, there seems no reason to undefend the.
The e6 pawn, right? I mean, okay. I'm looking at something like g5, but okay, this is fine.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah.
Check, and now black to play. Okay, if I was in black shoes, I would definitely be inspired to play the move g5 here. Basically, by playing g5, it means that you can't slide your rook over to g3 anymore and keep me tied down. I'm well prepared to meet rook d6 check with rook c6, okay? And this
Okay,
is
well,
just-
hold up here.
Okay.
Okay, so go back one move for white. Okay, so instead of the check
Yes.
in this position,
Yes.
what if we just decide to be funny and play rook h3?
Funny man. Rook
Funny
h
man.
rook h3.
I'm like, you can take my f pawn, but I'm gonna get your.
So you get that guy.
Yep.
Okay, well, let's see. I'll take this. You'll take this. Okay. So I will.
Okay, now I'm
defend.
coming after your unprotected f pawn.
You mean something like this.
Yep.
And I'm coming
And
after
now-
your unprotected e pawn.
All right, but
So-
now I have hope because I got that h pawn.
That h pawn isn't much of a hope.
Well, it's a hope though. It's a hope. You got something to hang your hat on at least.
Yeah, that is true. I can go down here and check. Yeah. I don't know where you're supposed to go. Actually.
Well-
I'll go down and just check you some more. It looks pretty bad. In view of rook h3, g5, I would think about it. I think g5 is fine. Let me just get an update on the game for a second, Mike,
Sure.
because I do believe that more moves have been played. No. So we do have this position. So once again, h5, a very reasonable, good move. Rook h3, very reasonable, good. Takes. Here. Now let me just be crude. Let me just push these guys. What can you do? Check the king and just get these guys going. You can go h4.
Right. So my whole question is, why even bother with g5 when you have this beautiful plan of just marching these pawns down his throat?
Yeah, it's sort of like grandmasters are greedy. We want to have our cake and eat it too. If we're better on one side of the board, we're happy. But wouldn't it be better if we were better on both sides of the board?
I just like it being locked down.
Yeah.
I see your point, though.
Yeah. No. We're greedy, and so if I could turn that king side situation into super stable and everything, I'm attracted to that. But just going with the doggies on the queen side. By the way, something confusing, but I think they played our variation.
All right. Oh, wait, which game?
Our game.
All right, or the game we're watching. Okay, with the where he's got the H pawn now.
Yeah, they play. I mean, I'm gonna have to take Nicky out to dinner. He's doing great. Okay, but he did it in a different way. I beg your pardon. He just started with A5. He didn't play games with G5, and only after check did he. Now he played G5.
Oh, okay.
But he got two tempi. He got two
even
tempos.
Better, huh? Even better.
So he did it far better than I did, and now we get the same variation. Look familiar?
Yes.
Except that 8 pawn's not on A6. It's all the way up the board on A4. King A5, escorting the pawn. And we've got this position on the board.
So
and we're
obvious.
expecting B4.
No.
Rook takes A3 check.
Aren't we expecting rook to C5?
No, I think you're the one who liked pushing the pawns. Now you suddenly want to defend and recapture pawns. What's your
I gotta
problem?
get that
You
pawn
know,
back.
Like, look, you're
You
the
take
one
some of mine, I gotta take something of yours.
Okay.
That's the deal. That's the deal.
That's the way I think. But you taught me that I should just be pushing the pawns up, and it looks very strong, Mike. You don't need to go after the e pawn. These pawns are winning the game on the spot. Actually, seriously.
Okay.
This is all very, very good. Just push these guys and check and look. You know, it's there. It's just there. This is just
Yes.
your threatening
Kevin,
units.
Kevin has a
If you
question.
had- How long would it take a grandmaster to calculate that basically to the end and say, I can see this pawn queening?
They don't. There's no necessity for them to calculate to the end. They just have a certain pattern and awareness. I got that. I got the game. So they don't go all the way to promoting the pawn. If they get to this position, they already have to stop. They don't need to calculate any further. And in fact, they will play it very, very quickly, just because they recognize that pattern is gold. Yeah, it's just marvelous. It's also very heartening to see Nick playing this endgame so, very, very well. By the way, once again, I'm going to bring out this game for a second because it really is instructive how Nick has played this. Check it out. We had left it way back here. By the way, he played it the way you wanted to play it. That is a rook takes.
So where he
h6.
gets the pawn back?
Yeah, there he goes. He goes.
Oh.
He played it this way to protect the pawn,
I don't really like that.
activating the king. No, this is very good play. Trust me. This is really awesome. Look at this. Now he's threatening mate in 2. Very straightforward check, followed by mate. So rook came over. Rook got behind, threatening mate.
So he's got to play king c1.
And now it's black to play.
Rook, roll.
What would you do, Mike? How would you?
How about rook a4?
Rook a4. So your intention is
But the thing is, this is tricky now that he's got that passed e pawn though.
right.
Let's just take the e pawn. Please.
I'm all for it. I'm all for eliminating the e pawn. Probably, if I were black, I would play a2 actually here. So my idea is to
because if he pushes the e pawn, we can just take it and laugh at him.
correct.
Yes.
Yes. And if he gets out of dodge meaning check followed by promote, if he goes here, then I would bring king to b2 so I could win the rook like that. And that's all she wrote. And let us just see what Nick has played. He played a2.
All right, good.
And
good,
after
good.
e6, I'd eliminate the pawn with a gain of tempo.
Right,
I'd play
right.
rook takes e6 if I were white. Oh, you played rook a4. Oh, that's winning too. Whew. Rook takes a4, b takes a4. And you're promoting the a pawn with check.
Wait a minute.
No?
Rook a4, rook takes a4, king takes a4, and
That would be
then
bad.
it's over.
Yeah. King takes a4, but b takes a4 and it's resigns. And we can chalk this
Wait.
one up for sure. Queen e5. Thank you. Queen e5. Just eliminating this pawn.
Oh, b takes a4. Okay, he didn't have to take back with the king. All right, now I understand what's happening.
Okay, good. So we can chalk this one up to good play.
All right.
Good play. Very good. Ooh, what did I do now? Uh-oh.
All right, so this is official now. We have the point. It's not unofficial anymore.
Officially, we have a draw in the game of Nyzhnyk.
Is that game?
It's official.
It's official. Okay.
It's official that Akobian has won, and it's official that Nick won. So we have one game left,
and it's
Spencer.
immaterial.
Correct. So we're going.
We're
to the
going to
final.
the championship. Everybody, championship.
The cheer you hear is St. Louis based.
Woo!
Yes.
All right.
Okay, let's see how VAR brought back the bacon. Brought home the bacon. Copy game 6, I believe. By the way, hasn't VAR been a standout for the Archbishops this year?
Yes. So he was playing on board 1 for the majority of the time, but then after week 6, we were able to bring on Nyzhnyk. He finished up the last 2 games, so he's now won his last 5 or 6 games. And there's the champion.
Hi. Sit down. Take a seat,
You guys
VAR.
can
Take a seat.
Take a seat here.
Take a seat. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Illya, join us.
Yes.
Join us. Smooth operation or any real problems for you?
No, I think it was a good game.
I do too. Okay, this is all standard opening stuff. And is this pawn sacrifice well known, VAR?
Yeah, I analyzed this a little bit, this position, but one line that computer suggests usually is after you take bishop b6, queen c4, knight d7, takes c4 here for white.
Aha.
That's
So
what
this is the key
I think
moment for
b3 is
white.
dubious because I think c4 is important because after b3 rook g8 I think black might be already slightly better because
Right.
my
In
pieces
fact,
are very active, 2 bishops.
it's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's
So
very hard
I
to
think he
get
kind of
untangled.
played b3, like he just really wanted to keep the pawn, but after rook g8, I think black might be already slightly better because I'm not sure how
Beautiful
you can untangle here.
centralized
Yeah.
pieces and knight on a2.
Yeah.
As it happened, now
Yeah.
he had a realization,
Yeah.
like, well, how does he untangle? You know, I was thinking that white might do something a little bit artificial somehow to get this rook up.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look
But
it.
if you play h4, then knight f6 and knight g4, and
I'm not a happy
Yeah.
camper. So came this, maybe. I thought his intention was to go like very slowly f3, g3.
yeah.
Is it a
F3,
better idea or not?
I think f3 you can play. Yeah, I was definitely considering f3, and then you would like to play g3. Maybe I just go h5 here.
Also very pleasant for
h4,
you, yeah.
h4 even.
G3, h4, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
Definitely
black is
good
just better,
compensation, yeah.
I think,
Definitely good compensation.
Yeah.
Well, his choice wasn't exactly that much
Yeah.
very
Bishop
nice
e2,
either.
yeah.
And now you had a very nice
Yeah.
position.
Now I just wanted to
Do
play
you
active. Yeah.
did you know that Mike suggested that your team captain?
That's why he's the boss. Yeah.
I got really afraid when he started playing Mike's move. I got to
Yeah.
look, you know.
No, but I just
Am I
think
in
it's,
some
it's,
parallel universe here?
It's funny. I just looked at the position. I think black is just completely dominating here because I couldn't see any moves for him here.
Mhm. Pieces
And-
on the back,
And my
right?
threat is very simple: knight c6, and I win the d4 pawn, which I think the game will be over if I play this one. So I think he played the only move. Otherwise, yeah, passant. And I was a little bit surprised. I think maybe here he made it a little bit inaccurate. No, this is correct.
Sorry?
Knight c6. I thought he should play knight e2 here, because I don't think he should allow rook g2. I was gonna
Yeah,
play
the
bishop b8 here, bishop a7.
Yeah, the moment that rook landed on
After
g2,
rook g2, I
it
think
really
it was-
looked like
Yeah.
it was. We lost the opportunity to even panic.
Yeah. I think this
Yeah.
is probably his best way to play.
Instead of c4, what if knight d3?
Knight d3, rook takes d4. It's just-
Winning a pawn
I
back.
think it's just a better end game and no more extra pawn.
I would say it's nearly winning because
Yeah.
the double pawn on f-file is just gonna.
Yeah, next
just gonna
move is
fall.
rook g2.
Mhm.
I think I can probably win even bishop endgame here because my king just comes to h5.
Yeah, no, it's looking very,
No, I
very
think his
promising.
only thing he's got to keep the pawn, but I think he just definitely misplayed it here because rook g2.
Yeah. So after
knight
knight
e2, bishop
e2,
b8. I
bishop
think this is
b8,
slightly better for me, but maybe somehow.
his best chance might be in with
No, it's two bishop a. Now rook g2 now.
rook g2 immediately.
As soon as knight moves, I want to play rook g2.
Any chances
Yeah,
to
some chances.
make?
Maybe, yeah.
But this rook is fine. I
Yeah.
mean,
I was actually planning not to even take, just go knight e5 here. I really don't
Mhm.
want to take because then my f5 pawn will be weak. I
very
think
pleasant for you.
eventually I'll exchange rooks, take back on e6.
I agree. So knight e2 may have been more stubborn,
Yes.
but it's not saving the game by
no,
any
no,
means.
he's already worse here. I was already happy because I was a little bit worried because the Spencer position looked very dangerous.
Yes.
And Illya was kind of equal, and Niki's position was not so completely clear, you know?
Right, but in hindsight, he played a really beautiful game, didn't
Yeah.
he? Yeah, I mean,
Isn't this d4? It's known, yeah. Okay, let's.
it should
maybe
be,
finish
but
this
let's.
game, yeah.
Okay, by
I
this
think
point, you
this is
you,
important.
you
I
saw
think
a
he
very
missed
nice
this, yes.
move.
I think
Yes.
he missed this because, but he's already worse. But I think he might have missed this idea because probably he could do something else. Because
But at this point, he was probably expecting that your bishop may have to go back. Who knows? On a good day, the rook could.
I actually also can
irritate
go
you.
knight g6 there. It's also possible, but it's not as strong as rook f2.
Such ideas, yeah.
Yeah, I'll just
Okay.
take it once. But once I saw this idea, I was very happy because
It's pretty.
Yeah,
It's very
just-
visual.
everything is hanging. And rook c4, yeah, but I think it's just lost now completely.
But now, yeah, the knights are terribly
it's just
placed.
take all the pawns and my rooks are very active.
Yeah,
So
you're having the best of all possible
yeah,
worlds. Yeah.
now here.
Now this was very nicely.
Now rook comes to f2. f4 is a threat. So I checked, this. I checked. Like, you probably saw.
How many times did you double calculate?
I checked.
Once I saw Roxy 2, I immediately agreed to a first
Yeah,
draw.
but
My game-
I spent like 2-3 minutes.
Just to make sure the night,
I checked 3 times because I don't want to miss something and then somehow the match ends 2-2. I'll be
Oh.
like, it'll be like unbelievable.
Well, it's very painful because you play against the computers and, like you do Rooksy 2 as a kind of like, now you resign and then there's some horrible...
It was individual game. Maybe I'll play more confidently. Like it's just my game. But like I imagine if I just blunder and somehow Spencer is worse, maybe he'll lose. Yeah. And then like it's 2-2 is really unbelievable. So I just spent like 2-3 minutes because I had the time.
Checking.
I had the time because I just wanted to finish nice tactic Rooksy 2 and just win like this. I could play any move actually. I'm still winning there.
You've been a long time French defense player. Played it more than a decade, but it's still good honey. I mean, it's still giving you dividends.
I had a specific preparation because even though I was black, I had to play a type of position where I have chances. So that's why I didn't just play Rubinstein or my typical. I actually played only maybe this system once. But I was really surprised. He was playing so fast in the beginning.
Yes, he was.
In some point, he had like 80 minutes. So I thought, this guy's well prepared. But I think he just...
Then when you saw B3, you felt a little bit better.
As soon as he played B3, I was very... As soon as he played B3 Rook J8, I was very happy because I thought, I cannot be worse in that position. 2 bishops, beautiful activity, open file. So I knew that I'm probably going to have a good game.
Yeah.
But I was a little bit, So I prepped this line a little bit to play against him. But, he played all sorts of systems against French, so it wasn't like I was only expecting this. But I had time to prepare, so I'm glad it worked out well today.
Very well done. Good luck in the finals.
Thank
Thank you for your sharing with our audience. Ilya, nice.
It's my turn now.
Yes. Take us through what has happened
Unfortunately,
today.
my game wasn't as impressive as Varuzhan's, but yeah, there were a few interesting moments, I believe.
Okay. So first of all, your opponent, he has a reputation, deserved one, as a French defense player. So you could expect that
I
he
knew
was.
that, yeah.
And
I saw
then,
he plays only French only.
so you sit there and go, okay, I got this guy, he plays a French defense. You have a huge, you could play advanced French, you can play Winterwer, you can play Tarash, and you come up with exchange.
Yeah.
So how does, take us through your logic, reasoning.
Actually, while preparing against Conrad, I was kind of expecting myself to beat him in more of a positional play, and I saw that choosing exchanged French will be the best choice for this matter.
Even though of course, it has a very big reputation for being drawing.
Yes, but I believed in myself, and unfortunately,
but now you've decided in your preparation, that is, you've decided to do the exchange French, but then there are different approaches that you can take to the exchange French. Like, for example, you can play the exchange French with a knight c3 and a bishop d3, and you chose knight f3, which is fine. And obviously, in his games, we know that he likes this line of bishop d6, and it was this move, this particular. And why is this attractive?
Because I was.
You're taking the isolated queen pawn.
Yes, I was actually aiming for positions that appear after him taking on c4, thus giving me the isolated pawn on d4. So this is what my goal was, to get this very position. Unfortunately, it didn't work that well.
Okay, so you've got basically in your mind's eye before the game, in your preparation, you more or less had this game on your board. Okay,
Yeah,
and you're satisfied because you have better, smoother, easier piece play and space, and you don't mind the strategic risk of the isolated queen
Exactly.
pawn. Okay, so you're a happy camper. And after knight c6, you played h3, and he played h6. And this moment, I wasn't a big fan of your move queen c2.
This is actually a quite interesting move, to be honest.
Okay, sure.
Because after queen c2, the main answer would be knight b4. So
Yes.
there will be like 2 moves after this: queen b3 or queen b1. Both are very interesting. won't say much, but the positions that occur after this are like extremely sharp and interesting. So
Okay.
this was my
Expectation
my
that
first
he would play
expectation,
knight
yes.
b4. And with the move queen c2, you have such evil intentions
yes.
of bishop takes and queen
Exactly.
g6. Yes. So his move knight h5 was not a big surprise.
Knight
'cause
f5, no, of
he
course.
needs to drive your
Sure.
bishop away.
Of course, yeah, I was
Okay.
expecting that. So bishop d3. Yeah, so here, for some reason, in this position, instead of bishop e6, people usually play knight c6, and I was trying to find out why black do that, because bishop e6 seemed like a normal move in the actual game. So
And presumably,
yes, I
they
straight
won.
bishop e6. Yeah, so now I have like b4, and this is probably slightly better for white, probably nothing special.
okay.
Yeah, but if
But
if
he
he
played
plays
very logical move,
Mhm.
bishop e6, and now you're scratching your head wondering
Exactly, yes,
why
why-
did the
yeah.
white house and everybody play bishop e6?
exactly. So my first idea was that I can probably play knight e5 here,
Right.
but then c5, and I wasn't sure if my position is okay because it looks like
Something
gonna-
can go wrong.
exactly he's going to play queen c7 the next move, and I'm already not sure what's happening.
And if you play something as
No, maybe instead of taking, he could play queen c7.
you do have knight b5, no?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, but it looks strange. All the pieces in the middle of the board without the protection of the
yeah, that's
the
right.
pawns, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. It's like why is that happening?
So yeah, I mean, I decided to
Yes. Sorry.
basically use this idea, but include rook e1
prepare,
first.
yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Well, we call the move rook e1 Vladimir Kramnik's move because in like almost all positions he finds the useful move rook e1, and we know from Vladimir games that it's just useful.
So just to get extra protection from my knight on e5.
Who knows? He doesn't even know half the time. But the rook on e1 is a good move. Okay, so now came knight e5, and you were expecting. Now you were ready to meet c5 with dc, I suppose.
c5, dc, or even bishop e3 would have been fine. But the fact that my opponent played knight c6 without any hesitations, it actually
It's
made
annoying.
it actually made me really surprised, because like to go for this kind of positions where you have double pawn on c file, it's if you play accurately, you may end up playing very unpleasant endgame. This is why I was so surprised that he played it so fast.
Right. So, yeah, but again, even having said all of that, it's a little bit unsettling that he has these double pawns, but the problem is your bishop on c1 is not an effective piece, yeah?
That's right. And here, this was the moment where I made my first mistake.
Oh, you're first. Oh,
yes.
excellent.
First, see, because there's going to be a
Excellent.
lot more. Yeah.
Yes. So you have played
A3, which is completely useless because of upcoming move. Yeah.
Okay. What should you have played?
The normal move would probably be bishop d2.
Okay.
Yeah, developing a bishop.
And you rejected it because of
Because of knight d5, but knight d5 is not really a threat. I didn't want to allow him to exchange his knight for a bishop, so I kind of wanted to play knight e4 here, but knight
Right.
d4 and
So now we understand why you started with a3,
Yes.
so that you could meet knight d5 with knight e4.
exactly. But unfortunately,
It has a problem.
yes.
Okay. Let's see what the problem was. You played 8.
And the
You
problem is
broke
queen d7. So his
So
idea
he
is
reminded you
Mhm.
you could be tickled over there.
Exactly. So I completely missed that idea that I have to. I couldn't even imagine I have to actually worry about my king side. To be honest.
Annoying,
yeah.
isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Now,
But
you played knight e4, but that presumably stops this threat.
actually, it could be a very interesting line. But actually now bishop e3 is a mistake, because I don't even have to take on h3. I can just take on f6 and play like some normal move like bishop e3, and he's going to be having 2 double pawns now. I don't think it's
He's a pawn to the good, but you mean you will play f3 in response?
or bishop f1. Either one of those.
Are you so sure? I don't know. it looks strange
When
that
king
this
h1
bishop.
and I'm just taking your piece, isn't it? What's gonna happen?
Perhaps. Let me.
King
take-
h8 would,
yes.
be a move. Yeah,
would
but now I
play-
can just take queen c6 and I'm okay. And I'm predicting the
I
g2.
beg your pardon me. Just a second. Let's do this again. I went rook e6.
Mhm,
You went
king
king
h1.
h1.
Yeah.
If I take this, you
take.
just run.
Yeah, and I ran with my king to f1.
Very good. Very good. I get it now. Okay. So king h8, and pardon me. You had
I will just taken on c6, protecting g2 pawn.
very
And
good.
getting the pawn back.
Annoying.
Annoying, but I didn't think of something.
Looks okay.
Mhm.
So no.
But it's
big
only one of
worries.
the ways. I
Yes.
think. So the interesting one would be
Oh, pardon me. Bishop.
yeah, it's okay. Yeah, so take on a4, take on a4. No, instead of taking on a3,
Oh, pardon me.
Mhm.
The interesting line would have been take on e4,
take on a4, and here he played bishop f5, but instead he could have taken on h3.
Ah.
Yeah. So here I have to. Probably my only move is to take on h6.
To take on h6.
Yeah. I think
Because
so.
the problem is if you're taking on g2, he's taking on h3, and
Yes.
h2 is
Mhm, mhm.
very unpleasant. So taking on h6.
Oh no, actually it's not the only move. I'm sorry. I apologize. Yeah, bishop d2 was another move, but I was planning to take on h6.
Okay, and what was your main line? How did it go?
Bishop takes h6, and now if g takes h6, he's actually losing after bishop c6,
Wow.
queen g4.
Does he have to take this? No, he doesn't have to take this
Rook
along,
will
yes?
be hanging. Yeah. So queen g4. Now I just take on a8. No, a8. Bishop takes a8.
Yes, interesting.
Rook takes a8. Queen c6. And rook e3 is incoming, trapping the bishop on h3.
A nice variation to be sure.
So after I saw this, I was kind of
Already.
Yeah, I was.
It's a very important defensive resource, the queen
Mhm.
c6 to defend g2 from the
Exactly.
long diagonal. Nice resource. All right, so that was why he, in this moment,
Yeah, bishop f5 was a good one.
right,
Mhm.
taking advantage of the pin on the
Mhm.
file.
Basically forcing me to play bishop d2. And now here I think he actually made a mistake.
Okay.
Because in this position he could have played c5, trying to get rid of his double pawns. And I honestly think I would have had
Made a
nothing.
draw.
Yes,
It would've-
exactly.
Yeah. So
One-
this was his moment to
Yes.
really, because as the game went, it
Mhm.
was actually,
I think he's slightly worse here.
yes,
Mhm.
this is some nice play for you. We got to a position later. Sorry for going
Yeah,
fast,
sure.
but essentially we reached.
Yes, this is a critical position, and I actually still believe that there should be something for white, even if I exchange this pair of rooks.
Mhm.
Okay, we can just
Yes,
go on
please.
and take a look at what happened in the game. So here, queen b8. Yeah, maybe instead of king d2, I had another resource, queen c5, I believe.
Yes, we looked at something like this, but he was getting
But
some play.
yeah,
yes?
unfortunately, queen e8. So my
Right.
idea is to play queen e5, trying to.
Yes, he's not going to trade queens.
Yeah,
we
but
presume.
yeah, so not queen d7. I'm actually probably already
Tempo
much better.
more than the game. Improvement over the game.
Yeah, but here I don't have any problems with some counterplay for black. That's the point. So here instead of queen d7, he can just play queen f8. This is why I
Rejected.
Yes, I rejected this line. I didn't see what I'm gonna do after queen f8, and I just have to go back basically to c5.
And then he will go back to
Mhm.
e8.
Because I can play b5 any time, but there is not much sense because I'm helping him.
Right. Well, as you played it in the game, what we anticipated was two approaches. Hold on. Well, what do we got? Okay. We were thinking that you were going to try to take advantage of the position in two ways.
This is already. I think this is already a draw.
So
we went a bit too far.
one way we thought that you would play was to get your king to c4, b4. So let's say I go here,
Yeah. So queen e6.
and let's say I go here.
But this is already not much. I mean, what can I do? What if queen d5? Let's say, or queen. Oh yeah, queen d5 is okay.
Queen d5. So the variation where you get a passed d pawn, how good or not. Okay, the game could very easily end in perpetual check, right? We agree.
This might be not enough because his pawn runs pretty fast too. This is probably
That is true.
A5.
Oh,
Actually,
how
not,
did we
not
get
really.
it? We got it in a different way, though. No, we had some. Okay, I apologize because we were looking at this type of an action.
I was going for this position, but with my king actually in his
on B4 or
D6 or somewhere. in
Right,
that area.
exactly.
Yes, that would have worked.
Up,
Yes,
up,
exactly.
up.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's say you get this position and we do it at a different. So you do it a little slower.
If queen c4, then it's just queen f5 check, and if king c3, queen b1, getting some counterplay.
Is it so true, Illya? I mean,
Maybe not. I'm not saying anything, but I saw that
that
my
you were thought that the
position is not enough.
chances of perpetual check were higher than your chances of win.
yes.
Doubtlessly, you are right. So you have
Probably no. Probably
taken
not.
no. Queen endings are notoriously difficult, as we
I
very well know.
I honestly think that f3 was a mistake as well.
We go
To
back.
be honest, yes. Here f3, and it appeared to be just a useless move because it didn't do
What would
anything.
you have preferred?
I'm still not sure if position after queen e2, queen takes e2, king takes e2 is winning for me, and this is what I was going for, and this is what I should have gone for, I think.
I'm
Because-
sure he would. If I were in his shoes, I'd be very, very reluctant to trade queens.
Yes, exactly, because now my king gets to c4 and his king gets to d6, and it all comes down to if I can
Tempe.
Zugzwang him or not.
Yes.
So I actually didn't see the way how I can Zugzwang black in this position, because if g3 is then
G6, I suppose. Then?
g6 no wait, g6, yeah, g6, f3 I'm not sure now. This works actually. No. But somehow it didn't work. When I was calculating this,
Well,
it
why
didn't
not
work.
F6?
We got f4. Now it works
Why does it work?
because I
usually?
take and f5. It's Zugzwang.
Uh,
Wait, actually, wait, it's not enough. Yeah, king e7, right? King e7. King d7 and c6. This is probably why.
Still a draw.
Mhm.
Even you need almost like one extra tempo more.
I cannot even play b5. I was thinking d5, c d5, b5, but it doesn't work as well.
Okay,
I'm-
now you're making
losing.
beautiful breakthrough.
Yeah, but I'm losing after this, unfortunately. Yeah, he has just enough tempos to get his king to b8.
Exactly.
Let's see.
And if
King B8.
you can
Or-
when he needs it.
No,
yeah.
c6. No, you can't play c6.
No?
No, because
Why?
I should just take.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I've got to go king
Yeah,
b8
king
right
b8
away.
first,
Oops.
exactly.
Sorry. You're right. Oh dear. Oops.
Well,
Yeah. Oh well. Okay, so
this is
one of the problems with queen endings too is I have discovered in my own practice you can spend a lot of time at the board calculating variations, and you calculate very deeply, and you're very proud of yourself until you come to the startling conclusion that one defensive move and all your
yeah.
calculation is useless. Like
Exactly.
you go queen e2 and the guy has queen e6, and you've
Mhm.
been calculating forever and ever that the king and pawn ending. He played queen e7,
and this is already.
and this
Draw.
is basically where you gave up your.
Yeah, and he found a perpetual check as well. Because now if I try to go for it, I may end up losing. If king f6, I get mated.
On
king
the
e6.
spot? Yeah.
If king d2, he gets my pawn on d4 by checking on d2. So now if queen a2 check king f4, for example.
Oh, sorry. Then he has this
Queen
little
D2.
nasty move.
Exactly. And it looked quite dangerous already. Because now he has a pass pawn, actually.
Exactly. Oops. So you didn't go for that variation, but instead allowed the. Oh, sorry. What happened? Was this where you agreed to a draw?
Yeah,
Or
it
more
might
plays?
be, but yeah, anyway, I played
Your
king d5.
intention was king d5.
Yes, and so queen a2, and now I can do nothing because now if king c5 and king c6, like he just takes on a4 with check and then on d4. And if king c5 and queen a3 check and king b5, queen b3, and I'm risking to get mated on b6 if I don't.
Very good. Very good. Oh, well, okay. Sometimes it's well played game by your opponent.
Yeah, exactly. He found a very good, very good counterplay by activizing his queen. That was very well played by him.
Oh, very good. Illya, thank you and congratulations
Thank
and
you
good
very
luck
much.
in the finals. Thank you for
very
coming
much.
and sharing
Sure.
your viewpoints. Well, there we have it, everybody. I think the match is well and truly over. Let me just check. The final result was, unfortunately, Spencer did lose. So the final result in the match was 2.5, 1.5. St. Louis to the final.
And that's all that matters. Ben Simon here, by the way. Mike Kummer has stepped out for the night, so I'll be here before you close the show, Yasser. Big news that we know in the U.S. Chess League. Tonight, we defeated our rivals, the Dallas Destiny, 2.5 to 1.5, that magic number. And because Dallas had draw odds, I heard someone say, they described this match earlier, as a tall order for St. Louis to fill. But we did, and we're moving on to the final once again, and we're in the main event, so to speak. In just a few weeks after Thanksgiving, December 1st, it's a Tuesday night, we will be playing the Manhattan Applesauce. And I'm so glad we're going to be able to say we're playing the Manhattan Applesauce because it's the best name ever. They defeated the New York Knights just a few moments ago. Man, those guys could have played in the same room if they wanted to.
Right.
NYC. So that's going to be really exciting. We're taking a couple weeks off, and we're going to bring this stream to you in just a few more weeks on Tuesday, December 1st. Really exciting stuff. We're going to defend that championship, Yasser.
Right. Well, let's hope we can turn the Big Apple into applesauce.
All right. Well, I'll let you close the show, and what a good night it's been.
Thank you, Ben. And thank you all for having joined us here at ICC and in St. Louis at the St. Louis Chess Club and Scholastic Center. We hope you enjoyed the coverage. And once again, well done, Archbishops. Go, go, go. Until next time, December 4th or 5th. First. See you in December. Good match, guys. Good match. Very good. Oh, yeah. No, that makes it extra nice, actually.